For cheap gold, items and other boosts for Diablo 4, visit aoeah.com. Check out the link in the description, you get 3% off with the code ARIAT. Hello and welcome everybody. This is a short video about how the damage in Diablo 4 is calculated and how you can get millions of damage. Let's go. At first we have the weapon damage. Taking my barb as an example, he has 3250 max damage on his weapon. Then we have to look at the skill. Whirlwind at level 9 has 31% damage, so we have to multiply with 0.31. Now we have a multiplier for the attribute points. For the barbarian, this is plus 1% damage increase per 10 strength points. You can see that for every class by holding the mouse on the different attributes. At 1000 strength, my barb would get plus 100%, so that would be a multiplier of 2. He has only 793, so plus 79.3% increased damage, results in a multiplier of about 1.8. The next multiplier contains all different types of increased damage or plus % damage, no matter if core skills, close enemies, physical damage or damage to bleeding enemies. All damage increases are summed up for this multiplier, except for two affixes we will look at later. Counting all affixes that could work together at the same time, we get plus 1251.6%, so a multiplier of about 13.5. The next multiplier is for the damage to vulnerable enemies. So this affix is not added up to the others, it has its own multiplier, which makes it very strong. You should urgently use this affix on your build and add some mechanics to make enemies vulnerable. My barb has plus 356.5% vulnerable damage, so we have a multiplier of about 4.5. Another strong position in the calculation is the critical strike damage. Here some other affixes can add, like critical strike damage with core skills or against crowd controlled enemies, depending on the situation. My barb does not have such affixes, but 523.6% pure increased critical strike damage. That's a multiplier of about 6.25. Last but not least, also every aspect that adds some damage has its own multiplier. My barb has two aspects that increase the damage, one time up to 40% and one time up to 30%. So we have another two multipliers of 1.4 and 1.3. By the way, the increasements by passive skills are treated the same as from the aspects, so here we can get some more multipliers. For my barb, this results in another multiplier of 1.3. Counting together all the factors results in a maximum damage value of about 1.65 million. That's also what I can observe in the game. For optimizing the damage, my barb could add some more strength and maybe get even more damage to vulnerable enemies. He could exchange some weaker affixes for that. Further, he could get some better aspects for his one-handed weapons. So in general, you have to do the following for tuning up your character. Get a weapon with high base damage. Get a high skill level on your main attack. Work with lots of critical strike damage and also damage to vulnerable enemies. Of course, you also need high critical strike chance and some mechanics to make monsters vulnerable. Use the passive skills in your skill tree and maybe also in your expertise. And finally, get some good damage aspects for your build. The strongest ones should be put on two-handed weapons or amulets. But also the attributes should not be underestimated. The increase is quite low, but it is a separate multiplier in the calculation, so it has more weight than an equal increase by some regular affixes. There is also a damage calculator, which I linked in the description below. But it is also useful to know how the formula works. In the end, the calculator itself does not tell you how to get more damage, but the understanding of the mechanics. I say goodbye, see you soon, and may the loot be with you.
Follow me. Thanks. Goodbye.